We are continuing with the concluding shiurim on the laws of Shemitah. One of the laws that are applicable to Shemitah produce, which is any produce which contains Kedusha Shvius as defined in previous classes, it remains forbidden to give this produce to a guy. So therefore one is not allowed to sell it to a guy, you give it as a present to a guy. This is learned from the pasuk Lochem la'achla, in which the Chazal derive v'loi la'acherim, and not to goy. Nevertheless, if a Gentile is inside of one's home, one is allowed to offer them food, even if it is Shemitah produce. And therefore, one who has a non-Jew working in their house is allowed to give them food, even though it's Shemitah produce. Regarding feeding animals, it is likewise forbidden to feed Shemitah produce to animals if the produce is edible to humans. If, however, it is animal food, then certainly may be given to animals. Selling Shemitah produce is forbidden in mass sale. That means that one may not sell more than the amount that he would normally have in his house for a number of days worth. Some say it's only the amount of 3 meals worth that he's allowed to sell, and more than that amount is forbidden. Regarding taking Shemitah produce outside of Eretz Yisrael, so it's brought down in the Mishnah and Shvius, in the Teres Kohanim and the Rambam, that is an Isser D'Rabbanan to take Shemitah produce outside of Eretz Yisrael. Nevertheless, one who is traveling and wants to take with him a sandwich, it's brought down in Pesachim of today that it's permitted for him to have a tomato or an onion or Shemitah produce within that sandwich, even though he's traveling to outside Eretz Yisrael. Truma and Meiser. All Shemitah produce is exempt from Trumas and Meisers, and therefore there's no need to tithe fruits and vegetables that are considered Kedusha Shvius. Beer. One of the mitzvahs of Shemitah produce is that it may only be eaten until the Zman Beer. What is the Zman Beer? The Zman Beer literally is the time that the Torah commands that the produce must be destroyed. You see, Min Adin, according to the letter of the law, one is only allowed to eat Shemitah produce until a certain date. Till what date may it be eaten? Only till the date that it is found still in the fields for the animals. But once there's no longer any more of that species left in the fields for animals to take, then one must fulfill the mitzvah beer of destruction. How does one fulfill this mitzvah? So this was a machlekes amongst Rishonim, with the Rambam holding it had to literally be burnt, just like any other beer, like beer chametz, while other Rishonim hold that one simply brings the produce into a public area in front of 3 people and declares it hefker, and he may then reclaim it. And that is a practical ruling today. We do not burn Shemitah produce, but rather, when the date comes for it to have beer performed to it, we put it outside in front of 3 people and declare it hefker. Practically, the Rabbanut Harishit L'Yisrael publishes each year the exact time of beer for every single produce, for every single fruit, for every single vegetable, and when those that contain Kedusha Shvius produce have to perform this mitzvah, bring it out of the house and declaring it hefker in front of 3 people. In Me'eretz Hashem, in tomorrow's final and last class on Shemitah, we will discuss the very practical and relevant question regarding how do hashgacha companies provide produce during the Shemitah year, based on the issue of the prohibition of selling the Shemitah produce during Shemitah. So we will discuss the many different methods of how hashgacha companies use to provide fruits and vegetables for the consumers. Many avoid the entire issue of Kedusha Shvius and they only sell non-Shemitah produce. Others sell it in a way of what's called Eitzer Bezdin. Others use what's called Heter Mechira. All this in Me'eretz Hashem we will go into in tomorrow's shir.